Most agency owners think like doers. They ask, what needs to get done, who's going to do it, and how fast can we get it done? But the top 1% think differently. They ask, who should lead this? How much capital do we need to invest? And what return do we expect to get on that invested capital? And the shift from managing tasks to investing in leaders is what makes agencies stronger, less dependent on you, the owner, and ultimately more valuable. In this episode, I'm going to show you and talk to you about the mindset shift you need to make. It's not just as simple like, oh, I think like an investor. It's what do you need to change and stop doing that 99% of the other agency owners are doing right now. There are two types of agency owners, the tactician and the strategist. And we sometimes float in and out of those two mindsets when we are building our agency in the grind. But the agency owners in the top 1% think like strategists. So let me break down the two for you. The tactician asks, what do we need to do next? Do I need to do it or does someone else need to do it? And then they say, once they go, okay, so Frederick is going to do it. Well, what do we expect him to do? What does success look like? And what results do we want him to get or do we want to achieve by having him do it? They might go into the situation, depending on where their agency is sitting at, and say, oh, I should just do it. It'll be a lot faster if I do it because I know that better. Now that is where the trap comes. You have to force yourself not to do it that way. But anyway, continuing down. So now it's like, who's going to do it? Am I going to do it? What do we expect to get in terms of results? What results are we expecting? How much will it cost? And how long will it take? Now, when I go through that train of thought, there's more to it than that, but that basic framework of thinking is very tactical. Those agencies in the top 1% think more strategic. Who is leading the effort for the next outcome we're hoping to achieve? What do we have to invest in it? And what return do we expect to get with that investment? And what's the time frame of that return? They're essentially the same framework, just a different mindset, because when you think like a strategist and a leader, you're not thinking tactical, get it done, but the person who's leading that you want to lead that is making sure that they come back to you with how they're going to do it. You're just looking at it like, I have capital to invest. Where am I putting that capital? And what outcomes do I expect from that investment? And then it's kind of a negotiation because now you have to really choose who the leader is. And if you're not clear on your accountability chart and your leaders and what they're supposed to be doing in your agency and the KPIs they're supposed to be accountable to, if that's fuzzy to you, you tend to go back to the tactical way of thinking. But when you have those things defined, you can really think strategically. And then, of course, as the investor, as the CEO or the owner, investing in leaders is what you have to do. Of course, now you have to find those leaders. And the other trap that you get into when you're very tactical is you tend to go look for people that are doers, not leaders. And there's a different type of person. A leader costs you more money. So you have to invest more in leaders than you do doers. And the mistake is you continue to invest in better doers. Oh, we have Frederick, who's a really good doer, but we have Susan, who's a better doer than Frank. So we'll just replace him and call Susan a leader. She's not really a leader. And this is why it's important. It ties back into, is your agency generating cash, profit enough so that you can reinvest it in the business? And you got to bank that for a while and take that money and reinvest it in leadership if you're at that level. So that's how the two different types of agency owners think, the tactical and the strategic. Decide which one you are and where you're at. But you're building an asset in your agency and it should be strong. It should be less owner dependent and more scalable. And when you've built those things, it'll be worth a lot more and you'll have way more options in your life than you thought you'd ever have. But it's scary because more options means more time. You have more time on your hands. And for a lot of people, they like to get in the grind and do. And if you get into that habit, you're never going to get out of that grind. So don't be scared of the freedom that you're going to get when you figure out how to do this. just start thinking like an investor where you put capital to work for you. And by the way, thinking that way isn't selfish. Thinking that way is the thing that makes other people around you more free as well. So I hope this helps. I hope it inspires. I hope you find your way to this fulfillment we're talking about with more freedom in your life.